Engineered back with you. And I would like to start by first saying I've done 3 videos now, and originally the idea was to try it, to make this kind of make like a vault because again, like I was getting an onslaught of questions and a lot of them were very similar. So I just wanted to kind of have a vault of like, oh, I answered this. Go check out this video because also texting back can take forever when I could just talk, record a video, and you get way more info out of it, I think. But the idea was to make the vault and kind of do it low key, not really promote it. Um, but I made because I don't have a Spotify, so I made a Spotify, uploaded them, and then I don't use YouTube. I have one, but I don't use it, and so I was like, oh, I'll put them on YouTube too, just in case people don't have a Spotify or whatever. So I put it on YouTube, just thinking, oh, I never use it, no one will see it. But I mean, I still had a couple like subscribers that were just my friends, and then I guess it was plugging it to my friends. So I guess the cat was out of the bag. Tavs is podcasting. Um, so at first I was like, oh, like you're gonna get clowned by your friends. But I just wanted to start off this by saying I got a really awesome, resounding, just I just felt like I sorry, I was really pumped on the response. All of my friends, like I really didn't get made fun of thinking I would, just because that's just how friends are. You poke fun, nothing crazy, but I got like a lot more support than I thought I would. And to me, that was pretty awesome. I mean, like friends that aren't even engineers, just, hey, dude, like I listened to it, or hey, this is awesome that you're doing it. And that really amped me up. So I appreciate all of you, my friends that listened, and, sent me a message or anything. And then also just because that's the thing about social media, I don't know most people that follow me. And I was just getting so many like in depth, like really just responsive, in depth comments and stuff from people that was like, made me stoked. And if you saw one of the earlier episodes, the whole point of me doing this is to just help one kid, maybe in high school, either figure out which engineering career he wants to get into, or like learn about a school or club. I don't know, something random. If I could just help one kid, and that seems to like already be working. And I just started this, so I just want to say I'm stoked, I'm pumped, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. And again, send me questions. I get a lot, and I got a lot from that last video, which I was stoked about. So I have a lot of items I do want to go through. The first one I just want to read, just to kind of share with you guys. Liam sent me a DM and said, hey, I'm 24 and a mechanical engineer from Arkansas. I just moved to Houston, Texas, got my EIT a couple months ago, and plan on getting the PE. Followed your account a while back and just watched your YouTube video. I respect what you're doing because, similar to you, I never knew anything about the engineering until I started working. I enjoy your content. Keep it up. Liam, really appreciate it. That amps me up just because he basically says what I was saying in that one video is like, just like you, I didn't know much about engineering until I literally started working. And so me and Liam were in the same boat where it's like we go to school, you learn a bunch of topics and things, but you don't really know what the job entails because you kind of learn all the prerequisites and coursework and math. But then that application is kind of like what do engineers really do with all of this knowledge? So cool to hear from a fellow engineer, that fellow engineered, that this is good and beneficial. And that I'm not alone and he's not alone. So that's just cool to be able to talk to people that are out there like me experiencing the same thing. So Liam, appreciate it. So I have 2 more messages and then obviously more content structured. That one I just wanted to share. But let me see which one I want to do first. I'll just do both of them because I picked 2 of them that were pretty similar because, like I said, I just want to be able to answer general questions with a quick video. But this one's from Tim. Tim says, hey man, I'm also an engineer. Love it. Was wondering how you be living life with a full-time engineering job and what seems to be a lot of you do a lot of hobbies. I'm an intern at a big engineering company and I feel like I never got free time. I couldn't do what you do. What's your schedule look like? I guess I'll read the next one, but I guess real quick, Tim, it's true. I have a full-time job. I guess what you do see is fun with the full-time job. And I'll get into the next one because that's kind of the point I want to tie in. This one's from Logan. Hey Alex, I'm a rising sophomore at Rutgers, trying to pursue electrical engineering, and I'm loving the podcast so far. Appreciate it. Listen to it at the gym today. Get after it. Other than your engineering slash cool hobbies that attracted me to your account, I admire your positive personality. Parentheses, at least what you put on camera, end parentheses. And I was wondering if you could maybe make an episode about some of the things you do to stay uplifted, whether it be relationships, meditation, etc. Keep it up. Logan, also appreciate the message. So Logan and Tim, the first thing I want to touch on is the parentheses was it was like, hey, love what you do like on camera because that's the biggest thing with social media, and it's good to have that hindsight of like, hey, when you see something, it's like there's always a full story. Personally, I not like no like social media is the best thing ever, but I guess I am in that world. I do it. I don't can call myself an influencer. I think it's a terrible term. But I'm in that world, and I'm I get really nervous about lying, not lying, but maybe portraying something that I'm not, and I never want to do that. I want to be super honest. And so like that message said, like, hey, how you show yourself on camera. I try to show myself exactly how I am. And it's funny because sometimes people see this and leave comments like that, like, oh, this isn't sustainable. Or, if you see my day in the life, it's like, I do a lot of activities. People are like, that's not real. And it's always funny because I'll see my friends and they'll be like, oh, I always see those comments. They think you're lying. And I'm like, I know, like, I don't know how to say I'm not without sounding like I'm covering it up. But they're like, it's funny because like, I know you and it's real. And my friends know that, so that's good because those your direct peer group is gonna keep you the most honest. Sometimes I'll post something, I'll be like, "Yo, like how was that?" And guys are like, most guys will be like, "Oh, it was stupid." But when you get a good core group of peer individuals, they'll keep it straight with you. And sometimes you need that because sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, like that was kind of weird, that was lame," and I'll be like, "All right, cool, gone." Like I didn't portray how I want to be. I want to be real. I don't want to be like the rest of those influencers that are we've talked about it. They're selling a course. They just want your money. They're promoting stuff they don't believe in. I don't make money on this. This is free on YouTube and Spotify. I'm paying for it to be up there. Um, Eventually I feel like there's a way I could make money doing this, but it's not going to be at the expense of you. That's for sure. Cause I think that's utterly ridiculous. But anyways, I do seriously try to post my real life on Instagram and social platforms and all that BS. Um, so I guess that's the next part of the question is how do you stay so happy? Um, and this is where I want to be really careful because I don't want to tell you you have to do this and be like me to be happy. I just feel like I am super happy. I'm not depressed. I love what I do, and therefore I just kind of want to share that. And if you can take something, I can feel like I'm reiterating from another video, but let's build on it. I'm a really happy person. I love what I do, and there's small things in my life that I do that attribute my happiness. I attribute my happiness to those things. So I know we already talked about like the balance thing, mind and physical. That was Logan's comment. Yeah. Like, because he was asking what keeps you so uplifted, whether it's the relationships or meditation. I don't necessarily meditate, like outright. Like I don't sit there and just meditate. But I feel like a lot of the things I do are a form of meditation. So for example, the first thing I do, and I'll get into the reasons why I do it. So I do jujitsu, and I love it. And one of the things I found out very quickly, because I started during school, so school is really hard, and I needed a physical outlet because I'm a very physical person. Like I need to sweat every day, and with jujitsu, I found that you could be stressed about a class, project, whatever, and it's in your brain, and it's always kind of there. Even when you go home at night, it's up there. In jujitsu, I'd show up, and I would have Dan, 43-year-old tax accountant, father of two, trying to rip my head off, and it's pretty difficult to think about, your thermo class homework while your head's getting popped off and you're just trying to survive. So pretty quickly I understood that, and it's a resounding thing. I used to talk to my friend Rana at school. She did jujitsu with me, it was like a resounding, like, this is so good for my mental health because I can't think about anything else. And so I strongly urge you to have something in your life that is like that, where it's like, I can't think about it because I have to be immersed in this, in what I'm doing right now. And it's way more helpful when that is a physical thing. So another point I'd like to touch on is running, because running's easy, not easy, but it's more applicable to the average person because all you need is shoes. So not that it's easy, but it's the easiest activity to do because all you need is shoes, really, and you don't even need them. But I found, because I run, and I found that when I run, you don't really get that same detachment from what's going on. I mean, maybe you could blast music, but your brain is still in a zone of whatever is going on in your life is in your head. The only time it really changes is if like a car's about to hit you and you're like, oh, car, because then you're now focused on that in the present. But running, you can honestly go into autopilot and just be in your head and just run. So not that I don't recommend running. Running's great, but that was just something to note where it's like, hey, it's like, hey, Tav said to do a physical activity, let's go run. I'm not really getting this mental break. That's what I found. When I ran, I didn't really get that mental detachment. When I did jiu-jitsu, I did. So another thing, especially if you're a student, join intramurals. Those things are so fun, and anything sport related does kind of gives you that mental detachment. Because like, especially like soccer, any sport really, just go to an intramural sport, try it. Because first of all, physically you're moving, your body's sweating. That's just all good. There's literally nothing bad about that. That is only beneficial. And then the other part is the brain side, where it's like I get to not think about school for an hour. So that's something that I seriously value in my balance between mental and physical is the sweating. There's another point I wanted to make on that, but basically, yeah, do that. Oh, I was gonna humble brag, and it's not humble. I'm bragging. Actually, it's not a brag. It's kind of sad. At Cal Poly Slow, I hold the record for most intramural teams in a single quarter with 29. I was on 29 intramural teams in one quarter. Now, to be totally honest, I think there was about 4 teams that I never played. I was just on the team. And you're probably asking how? I was on every sport in every division. I know it's kind of, and then here's the sad part, that quarter, because, if you win the championship, you get a t-shirt. The quarter I was on 29 teams, I only won one t-shirt. So kind of sad, but it was the softball team D1, and that was my favorite, was the softball team. But all the other sports I didn't play in all the teams, but because obviously 29 teams, the schedule gets nuts. But they told me they would hold a banquet, still waiting on it. Cal Poly let me know if that's coming soon. But yeah, I'm just playing. But yeah, I was on a bunch of intramural teams because of what we just talked about. I loved it. I needed it. And then the social interaction with friends is another thing. Social interaction with friends also takes your mind off it. The only issue is your peers are usually in the same boat as you. So it's like you're hanging out, if you're in an engineering class, hanging out with your engineering friends, topics are going to overlap that are part of your day-to-day life. So do something like that, a sport with friends where it's like complete detachment, but you also get the social. I'm plugging intramural sports, I guess. Do a physical activity because sweating is good for you. You get to hang out with your friends because social interaction is great for you. And then you also get to detach from the hard stuff in your life. It's a win-win-win-win-win-win. So, Logan, I would say also that's where my happiness comes from, because that's kind of more the way his question's oriented is like just what he said is, how do you stay uplifted? And that's really it. And another thing is, because I want to talk about, I'm never sad. Sometimes I get sadder. I don't want to call it depression. I don't like to use terms like that just because it sounds weird, but I'm going to say, I just don't feel like I fall in that boat. But if I'm down or something, it's usually because I don't have something planned, or I go on my phone for too long, and it's the most curable things. The only times I get bummed are, first of all, when I'm injured. When I'm injured, that's a mind pit for me because I'm a physical person. So injuries are the worst, and sicknesses. That's really when I go just down a hole of like sadness, I guess, where I'm just down. But being on my phone like keeping my, I know that it's the issue is I'm chronically posting stuff and I'm like on the platform and doing this and you're watching it on a device or maybe just listening. But it's like, I'm going to hate on it even though I'm using it to promote what I do. So it doesn't make sense. But it's like, get off that thing, please. If none of you gave me views because you were off it, I'd be fine with that. I'd be pumped because I think that that would help you more than being on it, to be honest, because then it's just an endless, maybe you see with something I do, but then it's just the rest. You're just wasting time, really. So get off your phones. That's the biggest one for me is that. Um, Getting off the phone. And then a big one for me, because as you can see in probably my day in the life videos, I'm really busy. And that's like the number one thing because it goes kind of hand in hand with detachment with your brain about what's going on. If you have something planned back to back to back to back to back, you don't have time to sit there and think about sad thoughts because your mind is active and moving. And then that usually means that if you're busy, that's because you're seeing people doing activities, learning something, all usually beneficial things because you just have, oh, I have to go here, I have to go here. Oh, I already committed this. I got to go do that. So that's just keeps your mind high and racing. And I think that's good because it keeps you out of the pit of sadness because you're always just focusing on what you're doing in the present and then the future. And that's all investments usually, small investments of your happiness. So stay busy, get off your phone. Logan, that's all it's not complicated that's really it. It's really not. And understand yourself. You should always be like looking in and just thinking like, oh, I'm sad. Why are you sad? Because like one time I was like, dude, I'm just like unmotivated. I'm just down. I don't know what it is. And then I was just like, I've been on my phone for 30 straight minutes. And so the next day, or actually, no, let me restart the story because it was not a great story, but it's just a story. There was like a week where I was like, by the time I got to work, I was just kind of down. And, still work, but I love my job. But I mean, I was like down. I was like, I don't want to do anything. I was like, what is going on? And I had been waking up and then kind of going on my phone and then, like showering, eating breakfast, working out, and then going to the office. And I did that for like a week where I was on my phone because usually I try to stay off it in the mornings and nights. And I was like, I'm just getting such a dopamine rush of this phone every morning. So the next week, powered off the phone. I got a cold, not a cold alarm, but a red light, like old LED alarm. I had that, and basically, I just didn't go on my phone. And in the morning, and I just got to work, and I was like, I feel way better. Listen to yourself. Like, think about what is going. If you are down, what's going on in your life right now? And for me, that's all I had to do was really just take a step back, being like, what are the variables I'm controlling? What can I control? What's a new variable that's causing this? And usually pretty easy to figure out. So don't think of it as complicated. It's not. Listen to yourself. Yourself knows you. You as a person, you don't want to be down and sad. So listen to you. It's easy. Just like I was like, I'm down. I don't want to be down. Why am I down? Dude, I'm the only one that can figure that out. So the power's in you. That's all I have to say on that. But don't overcomplicate it because I think when you start to complicate it, that's when it almost gets worse. Because then I think usually it's because you're lying to yourself and you're trying to, no, it's not my phone. It's got to be something else. And then you're just complicating it. Just keep it easy and understand what the basic issues are. So, Logan, I hope that was helpful. I just want to make sure I touched on kind of all your points. Yep. Okay, and let me go to Tim's because I just want to make sure I covered his. Seems to be a lot of hobbies, intern, free time. Okay, yeah. Tim, I do feel like I touched this on an earlier video, so I don't want to reiterate too much. But the big one here is I'm an intern at a big engineering company. I feel like I never got free time. That's like a staple with half the people I know. I'm with a big company and I don't have free time. And I think I said it in an earlier video, but for starters, and like kind of was just like I was just saying, don't be lazy. Make the time. I know that it's a cliche, and that's one of those things I've heard, those gurus everywhere. It's like, oh, you gotta make the time and all that, and you've probably heard it like that before. You've probably heard, oh, I have to make time. I was like, come on, it doesn't help. I don't know how else to say it though, because first of all, it's your life, and I know the office is not keeping you there 15 hours a day. And if they are, well, there's a chance they are, and that would really suck. So, Tim, I would maybe look for a new job if you're there 15 hours a day. But hopefully they're not. And there is time in the day to do stuff. And all you got to do is get off your phone for starters, because I know that that's something we all struggle with, is how much time you lose just on the in-between of doing stuff. And then the other thing is branch out, because that's the one thing that I feel like I don't convey well. I'm a super outgoing person. So I like to talk. I like to be out and do stuff with others. I'm not necessarily an introvert. Probably an extrovert, although I value my alone time, but I'm definitely more of an extrovert. And I should actually definitely touch on this, because most engineers are introverted for sure. Like, that's a stereotype, but that's true. It's just a common thing, like, oh, an engineer, they're not personable and just get caught up in their work. And that's just because most engineers are math guys and they just like to solve problems. And so they just head down math. And basically, I don't necessarily have this struggle, but what I could see a lot of my peers having the struggle with is hey, I don't have time in the day. And when it's like, no, first of all, you're not making time. But second of all, the things you're investing in, you got to branch out. And that's the hard part for most engineers, because they're introverted. They're like, I don't want to go try a new gym. I don't know anyone. I want to keep to my roots. I'll just stick to stay at home. But if you're happy with that, that's totally fine. If you just go home and do your plants and you're a botanist and mess with the soil, get new leaves grown, and that's your stimulus and you're stoked, that's awesome. That's rad. Then do that. But if you're like, hey, I'm down and I'm an introvert, what do I do? Hey, you might not like it, but you will, I feel like, in the long term. Branch out. And then also find things around your commute. My jiu-jitsu gym is right next to my office. And I guess I'm kind of lucky that way, because it is a really good gym. It's Legion AJJ San Diego. Shout out. Love that gym. But it's close to my office, so I'm kind of lucky in that way. But, there's other things where there's like other gyms around me that, you could join, or around you. Go look. Have you even looked? Do you value the gym? Maybe you don't value the gym. Maybe you want to go to a climbing gym, or maybe you are just interested in something else. So personally, I just think that you should branch out. Find a gym, climbing gym. I'm saying gym too much. I need other topics. Roller rink, ice skating, mountain biking, motocross. Whatever your hobby is, go find that local thing, and then get into that, meet people there, and I guarantee you that will spike your happiness. So, Tim, you feel like you never got free time, try and schedule something find something around your commute and commit to it. Club, course, gym, whatever. Just find something, just try it. I feel like it'll work. But again, I guess I'll wrap it up there, because I didn't want these to be too long, and I'm a rambler, so it's like counterintuitive, because I just want to help give quick info to general questions that I can slide your way. But was it Tim, Logan, and then the first one I read was from Liam. So Tim, Logan, Liam, I appreciate it. Again, please keep sending me questions, everyone. I try to get to most of them. If it's too general of a question or not something I can really speak on, I might not get to it. But really appreciate it. Until next time, thanks, guys.